Up on Mountain News at 5:30, President Biden announces a ban on Russian energy into the United States. Plus, what the administration's Director of National Intelligence is saying about the efforts to end the invasion of Ukraine. And we hear from a business owner on how they are doing just days after a shooting left 4 people injured in Louisville.
More showers are in store for us as we head into this evening and overnight. I'll have the very latest on the way right now at 5:30.
Dedicated to Southern and Eastern Kentucky, this is WYNT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. President Biden continues to ratchet up the economic pressure on Russia, today taking the significant step of banning the import of Russian oil, natural gas, and coal into the United States. The United Nations now says 2 million people have left Ukraine since the invasion began. CBS's Natalie Brand has the latest on all this from the White House.
The U.S. is now the first Western country to ban Russian energy imports in response to the invasion of Ukraine.
Russian oil will no longer be acceptable at U.S. ports, and the American people will deal another powerful blow to Putin's war machine.
The United Kingdom followed by announcing it will phase out use of Russian oil by the end of the year, though it's not yet known whether other European nations will take a similar step. Europe relies on Russia for about 40% of its energy supply compared to the U.S., which depends on the country for less than 10% of its oil imports.
This is a step that we're taking to inflict further pain on Putin. But there will be cost as well here in the United States.
As gas prices continue to soar to record levels, President Biden has vowed to do what he can to soften the economic impact while also warning energy companies not to price gouge. A new poll shows a majority of Americans support the ban, and there's bipartisan support on Capitol Hill.
I think it's important to deprive Russia of that income.
It's a very significant step to take to show the support that we have for Ukraine.
But the Director of National Intelligence told a House panel international sanctions combined with Ukraine's military resistance may not be enough to stop Moscow.
Putin is unlikely to be deterred by such setbacks and instead may escalate.
Hours after a Russian airstrike, a temporary ceasefire allowed some civilians to escape the city of Sumy in northeast Ukraine through a humanitarian corridor. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Today, President Biden called on Congress to approve his request for billions of dollars in humanitarian and military aid for Ukraine. The House is expected to take it up as part of a big government spending measure as soon as tomorrow. Gas prices continue to go up here in Kentucky and across the country. AAA reports the average gas price is about $3.90 a gallon in the Bluegrass State as of this afternoon. And for small businesses, it is adding up. A roofer and operator of Prairie Farms in Pulaski County, Mike Chandler, says the cost of doing his business is escalating quickly. Chandler also says he runs trucks in 3 different states and believes they will spend tens of thousands more in fuel costs just in the next few months. The First Lady will be in Kentucky tomorrow. Dr. Jill Biden will be visiting families of soldiers at Fort Campbell. Members of the 101st Airborne Division are deployed in Europe in support of NATO and Ukraine.
Well, we've been stuck in the 40s and 50s today thanks to the overcast, and well, we've stayed dry during the day. It doesn't look like it's going to stay that way as we head into tonight. Outside right now, camera from UVA Wise looking at interesting patterns in those clouds, but the overcast continues nonetheless. We're right smack dab in the middle 40s at 45 right now in Southwest Virginia. Buffalo Mountain camera also looking overcast. We've been trying to see maybe a little bit of sunshine trying to sneak through, but we're going to continue to see the overcast as we head through the overnight hours. Middle and upper 40s around the region, a few low 50s into portions of the Cumberland Valley, but for the most part we are staying on the cloudy and cool side as we head into the rest of the evening hours. But notice those clouds continuing to work on through the area. That's ahead of some rain moving our way. So go ahead and keep that WYNT weather app handy. Of course, you'll have the latest radar imagery as well as our forecast and the latest information on any alerts that may pop up right in the palm of your hand with that WYNT weather app and that forecast showing we've got rain on the way back as we head into tonight. I'll have the very latest on everything coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
Evan, thank you. A Madison County home invasion suspect is due in court tomorrow. Shannon Gilday is accused of killing Jordan Morgan last month. Jordan was staying with her father, former state lawmaker Wesley Morgan. Troopers say Gilday may have targeted the home for its underground bunker. His preliminary hearing is set for 9:30 tomorrow. Police in Louisville are searching for a person who broke into a salon Saturday night, stealing thousands of dollars worth of products. Just after 10 Saturday night, surveillance cameras captured a woman breaking in the front door of the Perfect Imperfection Salon. Owners tell us that product was $10,000 worth of Botox and dermal fillers, something detectives say could be dangerous if it's not used by a trained professional in a clinical setting. She's known as the Seafood Lady and is sharing her experience after her restaurant in Louisville was the target of gun violence. 4 people were sent to the hospital over the weekend. The owner said it could have been much worse. Olivia Russell talked to her today for the first time since the shooting.
I'm just trying to put the pieces back together and be able to move forward.
Putting the pieces back together as they're falling apart, literally.
Yeah.
The shattered glass constantly falling inside the restaurant. That sound and the bullet holes bring back scary memories for Nichelle Thurston.
Each time it shatters, it takes you back to that very moment when it was happening.
Thurston said it was a moment she'll never forget. From hearing the gunshots to seeing the blood, then the screams and cries as she ran inside to find her children.
Just remember, making sure everybody was safe, and at one moment everyone ended up outside. I was running in and they were running out.
4 people hurt in the drive-by shooting. They're all expected to survive. While she's heartbroken that it happened in the first place, she's just thankful everyone will be okay. Now she's worried about the rest of the city, feeling like there's no safe space out there.
With the violence being everywhere over Louisville now, I knew it would be here soon. Unfortunately, I didn't think it would be at my front door, but it is, and now I feel obligated to be a part of advocating and stopping the violence.
There's no secret recipe for how to move on after a shooting. Thurston said she won't be scared away from her own restaurant. For now, all she can do is sweep up, pray, and keep cooking.
So far, LMPD has not released a description of the car or how many people they are looking for. The National Guard will end its deployment to Kentucky hospitals 1 week from today. Governor Andy Beshear says new COVID cases and our positivity rate have been dropping steadily. Hospitalizations are also decreasing. The governor says many counties are still in the red zone, but he expects that to change soon. The University of Kentucky is not making changes to its COVID policies just yet. Campus leaders will discuss the mask mandate later this week. President Eli Capilouto is taking feedback from his senior team and from health experts. UK's Department of Forestry and Natural Resources is starting a Bradford pear bounty program. It's an effort to help landowners replace their Bradford pear trees, which have become an invasive species in Kentucky. While not all non-native species are invasive, the Bradford pear is that, and so that's why they're trying to cut back on its growth and plant more native trees that are actually more beneficial to the area.
Native species belong here. They interact well with our other native plants and wildlife and aren't going to invade our natural areas in that same way.
Through a partnership with other Franklin County organizations, they're asking those who want to participate to cut down your Bradford pear trees and present photo proof to receive free new seedlings. And while they will be smaller than what you had initially, in the end, it's a great help to the environment. A new study reports that concussions may lead to a higher risk of kids developing mental health problems. A study examined records during a 10-year period between 2010 and 2020 of kids between the ages of 5 and 18 who had a concussion or orthopedic injury. None had a mental health diagnosis before being hurt. Researchers found that concussed youth had a 40% increased risk of developing a mental health issue compared with children the same age and sex with an orthopedic injury.
We don't want parents to be afraid for their children to play sports, but it does provide information to parents to help empower them to help get the right help for their children if they are seeing mental health symptoms after something like a concussion.
Those who had a concussion also had an increased risk of self-harming and undergoing psychiatric hospitalization compared to those with an orthopedic injury. More people are cheating to beat the popular online game Wordle, particularly in the state of New Hampshire. A study by Word Finder X looked at Google search trends for the answer to Wordle's daily puzzle. It found that the words players cheated on the most were swill and aroma. The study also found New Hampshire had more Wordle cheaters than any other state. Rhode Island and Vermont were tied for second place. The site says cheating nearly tripled since the New York Times bought the game in January when the game went viral. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, tens of millions of Americans are planning to buy a home in the next year. Do you have the info you need in this hot housing market? We have the tips to land your dream home.
I may not have gotten swill, but I don't cheat at Wordle. Showers will filter back into the region as we head into this evening and overnight. I'll break it all down coming up.